Hi everyone. I've decided to make a video again with what's going on with Postmasters and flooding, etc., because it just resonates a lot with what happened to me in my life and how the Titanic struggle becomes when you're up against Dot Gov, basically. I mean, with the Postmasters now, I'm sure everybody agrees, yeah, lots of people know about it, but it's took this documentary drama, which is absolutely excellent, to highlight it to the country. And then everybody comes out of woodwork, the rats, I call them rats, because most of Dot Gov are rats. There's decent people, as there is in any walk of life, but in general, when you're fighting Dot Gov, it becomes immense. And in my own case, I was up against it at Dot Gov. I mean, Postmasters, it's savage what's gone on. Let's assume only a dozen of these people had been badly done to. Would MPs, would Parliament, would there be a documentary? No, probably there could have been people who committed suicide, loss of livelihoods, along with everything else. Nothing would have come of it. And that's what it is for most people. That's what it is. Getting the attention to something, what happens to you, is immensely difficult. I was on my own, fighting something, and the weight on your shoulders and the mental health, and physical, but mentally, it destroys you. I've made lots of videos in the past about Wakefield Council. And in my case, just in brief, it's pointless me harping on about it all, because there's lots on YouTube about it, to be fair. But in my case, I spent about 14 years as a subcontractor to Wakefield Council, and I actually dealt with all flooding in Wakefield District. And the thing about it with me, it wasn't like I worked a couple of weeks, did something else. I worked 14 years continuous. And so did some people who worked for me and who lost their jobs. And what a lot of people don't know, there were times I know everything about flooding in Wakefield. I know every pipe, every dike, I know where it flooded. And there were times when people were laid in bed and it's raining heavy. I'd get up at 1 and 2 in the morning, riding round all district, looking for, where potential hazards were. And I never asked to be paid. I used to do it, and then some of the lads who worked for me didn't. I'd do it unpaid. Or that dedicated to it. I had an impeccable record with Wakefield Council, absolutely impeccable. 14 year. There were times I'd go, and we just went to every length to just make it work to stop people flooding, and people don't realise I did a lot of that, but when I embarked on what I had to embark on with Wakefield Council, it's not just tragic.
Right, Dad. I'm off.
Oh, that's my son. Right, see you later, lad.
See you later.
When I embarked on what I did, in a nutshell, basically what happened was I spent 14 years with Council. I worked in the certain department, land drainage. There were all engineers in there. And for 14 years, these engineers have been using my account, such as ARCO, etc., and adult paperwork and that. They've been using my accounts to furnish themselves with goods. And I basically stopped it. And when I stopped it, that was it. They turned on me. And when I say turned on me, I'd won 3 contracts. I was so familiar, I could do it blindfolded. I was never going to lose because I used to, and the rates, everything. So I'd won 3 contracts, and what happened was I stopped them using my ARCO account, among other things, among them taking money. There were quite a number of things, but when I stopped them, all of a sudden, on the last contract, it came back. I hadn't got it. And the reason I'd not got it, because I'd stopped them pilfering, fraud, so many things. So they turned on me. And what happened was, when you apply for a contract at Wakefield Council, it goes through a central thing called your tender. You put everything, all your paperwork, it comes back, submitted, you get a green tick and everything. Mine came back because it had done for. So, and you've got to understand how familiar I was with it. I know everything from top to bottom. It was like a breeze. So you get a green tick from this Your Tender, this central organisation that deals with all contracts for every council. It comes back, green tick, submitted. So you just basically wait then to see if you've won the contract. Time went on, didn't hear anything, rung up. All your documents wouldn't open, which were ridiculous. I know what they'd done straight away. The basis said he stopped us using his accounts. He's told on us. We're going to get rid of him. So I embarked then on a journey to put things right. So first job, Head of Wakefield Council, Madam McRae and a man called Peter Box. And if you just remember this, Peter Box at the time had put in Wakefield Express. They were cutting services, and he'd actually put every pound must be saved, every pound. These engineers, I can't emphasise enough how much they'd spent on my account. Thousands of public purse, taxpayers' money, which they shouldn't have done. I'd got all the paperwork for it, the documents, there were witnesses, and so I writes into council, and I thought somebody at council was going to go, this is so wrong, we'll look into this, it's so wrong, we'll put it right, you should not be treated like that. What I didn't expect is what came back at me. I'm trying to briefly go through it because there's so much involved, but briefly, I met a woman called Gillian Marshall. She kind of legal for Wakefield Council, and the first thing she said to me when I went in the room at the town hall, I work for Wakefield Council, and I know straight away what she was saying. She was saying basically, you're not going to beat me. And straight away I thought, I've nothing to beat. I've nothing to beat at all. They've done wrong to me. They've pilfered. So there's a year-long investigation, and I got sent to it. She even said, we'll put somebody independent in, as I did with Postmasters. But the chap with Postmasters, when you watch the drama, he was a nice man. He did his best to help him. In my case, I went up to Wakefield Industrial Estate, to the building, Industrial 41 Estate, sat in a room with this, whoever, I don't know who it was, supposed to be this independent person. And it was ludicrous. He asked me questions, they just weren't relevant to my case. But I'd written to MPs, and one of the other things, in Wakefield, we have about 5 MPs, for district. And I'd written to them all because what I'd said to them, Yvette Cooper, I've got a lot of emails from them. And what I said to them was, it involves you all because Wakefield Council is central to all Wakefield districts and all MPs. And you should be concerned that engineers have been ripping people off taxpayers' money. And you get the thing back like from Yvette Cooper and other MPs. You're not in my district. You're from X and I'm in Castleford, to say, like in Yvette Cooper's case. And I kept saying, so basically, they fob you off. They don't want to know. So your own MP, they do what they can, but they're never going to really fight your corner because it's too much trouble for anybody. And getting public opinion behind you, it's hard. And who out there knows, effort and what I've done for council and for public for 14 years? Nobody's going to turn around and say, I'll fight your corner. So you're fighting your corner on your own. And that's what I embarked on, fighting against it all the time. You get to Ombudsman. Ombudsman were agreeing with me, but then at the end of it all, Ombudsman is like, I don't know if people know, with Ombudsman, what they do is they'll go, well, I can make a recommendation, but they don't have to do. He no matter what he said about council, no matter what agreed with me, and even he said you should be compensated, council can just turn around and say, no, we're not giving them nothing, and that's how it is. So everybody out there, when you hear about people say, see your ombudsman, contact your ombudsman, I'll tell you what you better contact him. You better go in a pub and talking to the pub landlord or something like that, because you get more sense, you really do. So I'm going through all this, and the hardship for me was when it happened. I closed my business straight away. I was hemorrhaging money that much, you wouldn't believe. And men who worked for me for 14 years lost their jobs. So I closed business down. While I'm closing business down, my son has a near fatal accident. I'm dealing with that. I have an investigation with Taxman, which I'm going to get back to you, because the investigation with Taxman, it's kind of interlinked to council. So I'm dealing with all this, and for me to go through all investigation with it just take ages. It's all on YouTube. But the essence of it was, they discredited me at every corner. And I'm expecting somebody to come out at blue and say, this is wrong, but it just doesn't work like that. I mean, luckily for Postmasters, for Jitsu, a whistleblower came, and there were a lot of them. And as I say, if there were only a few of them, they wouldn't have got nowhere, same as I didn't. So this investigation, it took a year, Wakefield Council, thousands of pounds spent on this investigation. But I've closed the business, I've had to shut business down and everything. So I've got this investigation with tax people. I'm dealing with my son's had this near fatal accident, which were really bad. And I've lost my livelihood. And thing with investigation, just briefly, with tax, I'm self-employed. Every now and again, they do a small compliance investigation, what they call. They'll just pull a file and they say, oh, we'll just have a look at this. I had nothing to worry about. I always paid my taxes and everything. You know, I had nothing to worry about. But they just pull them, and it's just random. And I think on this occasion, I'm probably 20 or 30 grand to come back. And I think it were out by a couple of grand or so, which is, in big scheme of things, it's nothing. So that's that. Just put that to the side a minute. So that's that. So while I'm doing all this with council and chasing this investigation and everything, I need some paperwork to prove what they've done wrong. And it's at the accountants. So I go to the accountants and I tell them, look, business is closed now. Can I have all my paperwork? And then they want some paper. 14 years of business, it felt 20 then. They were absolutely mountains, but I just wanted the paperwork what I needed. So I sift through it all. I get these invoices showing council. I proved everything. I just proved it. You know, that the fiddle and end of investigation, all council went, well, they've slightly, you know, it's nothing really. And I thought, they didn't want to correlate the fact that, because I'd stopped them being fraudulent, they turned on me, I'd lost everything, my livelihood. They didn't want to do that. They just dismissed me out of all sight. So I get all my paperwork, and this is the worst thing. I get all my paperwork from accountant, sift through it. Right, I've got an invoice here, so-and-so's name on it, an engineer. Another, I get all paperwork out, and with rest, I thought, I don't need all this. What do I need? You know, I thought I'll get rid of it. I'll burn anyway. So I burns all the rest of my paperwork. There were tons and tons. I thought I don't need it. I'm just putting it anywhere. Lo and behold, I couldn't believe it, right? Because I'd done that. HMRC had been doing this little investigation, and it was nearly wrapped up. It was like, not even a slap on hand or anything. It's like, you're just out with your figures a little bit. That's fair enough. So HMRC said, we're going to go back 6 years now. I said, 6 years what for? Because we're going back 6 years. You finish your business. And so I told them the situation. I says, I've been and got my paperwork, blah, blah, blah. That's not good enough. You should have your paperwork. And I says, I've heard about that, you have to keep things 6 years, but I says, I never expected this to happen. I says, can you see difficulty I'm in? I'm fighting for my life with Wakefield Council. I need paperwork just to prove it. I've got it. I says, and I've got rid of rest. Do you know what they did? You talk about stress. They penalised me, right? They went, oh, you can't do that. We're going to penalise you. I went, what? Do you know what they penalised me? 252 grand, $250,000. $250,000 quid. I'm not kidding. So I've got my health's going downhill. I'm suffering. I'm still got this with my youngest, you know, with this accident. I've lost everything, more or less. And then these $250,000. I fell on the floor crying. I says, I need to come and see you at Liverpool. They went, we don't do that. Do you know what I did? I got my son. I said, get me to Liverpool. I turned on knocking on the door, and they saw me. But it don't make no difference, you know what I mean? So I've never fiddled around all the time I've worked and that, never fiddled nothing. And I've ended up with 252,000 quid penalised me because I got rid of my paperwork. And I know there's a grounds to say, well, you shouldn't have done that. It was just grand scheme of things. All I was trying to do is prove my point with council. And I was hoping somebody in council might just, in effect, take pity and say, this is wrong. This kid and people who work for him, they've been helped us so much for 14 years. They've done so much for public, what public would never even know about. But no, there's more people in that Wakefield Council complacent that do know it's on their shoulders the rest of their life, you know. But what I'm trying to get at is, with Postmasters, the struggle, I struggle bad on my own, you know, really struggle with my health, with everything, you know. Getting rid of business, you know, you're burning money. And the thing, when you contract a council, I had to jump through hoops, you know, management courses, certification, big industrial units to pay for. There was so much. I was just hemorrhaging thousands of pounds. I thought, I've got to shut it down. You know, shut it down, and hopefully somebody's going to see sense in Wakefield Council and say, this is wrong. And as I proved it, I give them all everything. You know, they had everything, but they just shut you down at every single corner. And you come out, and do you know how it ends? You go out, I can't take no more. I've had enough, just bury it in a box. But it's because this has all come up now with Postmasters. It just raised its head again. So what in a nutshell, what I'm saying to people is, I fought, you know, Dot Gov, and at the end of the day, post office is Dot Gov. When Paula Venel's on that drama goes like that, its reputation at post office, she was saying that basically for MPs to basically hear and say, yeah, we're not going to really, and that's what MPs have done really. MPs have done bollock all up to now really. Yeah, there'll be a few who say, well, I did this, I did that. When an MP has trouble in Parliament or wants to sue anybody, they settle straight away, give them a massive amount of money, and that's it. And all the rest of us are nothing. I mean, look at them now jumping out at woodwork. Aren't they? Well, they are. They're jumping out at woodwork and that. I'm going to do this, I'll do that, they should do this. Why didn't you do it then? They should be asking them questions and that. Why didn't you do it? Not just to some of them, to all of them. They're all scandalous twats, really. But yeah, I suffer. You won't believe what I suffered. And like I say, getting people to behind you, to me, and people who work for me, it's so personal and you've lost everything and that. But even when you put videos on YouTube, yeah, people will watch them, but then they go, I know, but what can I do? I can't do all of it. And I agree with that. I'd be saying, you know, if somebody were doing this video now and I were looking, I said, that's bad, but what do I do as a person? It takes like with Postmasters, a documentary drama. I thought countries woke up and gone, scandalous, ridiculous what they've done. Believe me, what they did to me were on par. You know, it were on par. The difference for me was I had evidence. It was there. It were all there, you know, giving them evidence and everything. But the avenues you go down, it takes too long to sit here and really put it across how it destroys you, you know, and a lot of things I'd gone through, you know, to help people in Wakefield from flooding. A lot of people didn't realise that. They didn't flood because of me and people who work for me, you know. But yet, so I get a £250,000, £252,000 penalty bill because I burnt the papers. What personally I didn't need. In any other circumstance, usually it wouldn't happen. But it just piled it on my shoulders. I thought, you imagine, you're fighting council, you've got, my health were going downhill so much you wouldn't believe. Mentally, I'll tell you what, I'll take it. So when you're dealing with taxmen, tax people will tell you, I'll say, probably one of the most strenuous things you're going to do. You imagine, I'm fighting for my life to and I've done nothing wrong, nothing whatsoever. I've been a good servant to people of Wakefield and to Wakefield Council, and then I end up with £252,000 bill because I burnt my paperwork just because I wanted to get some paperwork out of it to prove things. And there were other things, engineers, one called Paul Madison, who turned against me. I'd give his son a job for 7 years. And this Paul Madison, who was a top engineer, is giving people jobs at £25 an hour because they're taking him out for meals, and then he's coming to me and saying, would you give him a job? Can you give him a job, please? And that, and you know, as a subcontractor, what do you say? You don't say, I don't know, I didn't at the time, but he's saying, can you give Mike a job? Well, if you're asking me to give him a job, I'll give him a job. You're paying it about £25 an hour. I thought, £25 an hour? I didn't know. I'm not kidding. And this is what we're up against. And then you got, on one occasion, there was one engineer called Nick Fothergill, him and his wife Rebecca. This Nick Fothergill, the idiot, had pressed his phone one day and pressed my number and were talking about me in office and most vile things. And I got it on speaker. And my wife and there were 3 other witnesses there, heard it all. I put a complaint in to a chap called Graham West at Wakefield Council. He asked for witnesses. When I produced witnesses, they never even got back to me. They just said, oh, we've looked into it, it's nothing. That was it. And I says, oh, it's made a woman cry. And I said, you're not even bothered. I couldn't believe it. And then, with a main investigation, where they've been asking me for money, engineers, to buy things, there were witnesses to it. And this Gillian Marshall, legal at Wakefield Council, wrote to me, she went, I says, are you seeing these witnesses? Do you want to say? No, they're only as surgeons, really. Can't take them as gospel. I says, they've got impeccable characters. I says, you need to see them. So you're just up against it, really bad. It devastated me, you know what I mean? It's a long time since I put a video out, mainly because my health's so bad. But yeah, so lots of things, what's happened with Postmasters, happened with me. But as I said, I was dealing with it on my own. And most of people in Wakefield don't realise how much I'd done in this district and how bent they are. Peter Box left the council. He was going to go to Yorkshire Sculpture Park, and I kept on at him and on about him writing in Wake Express. Every penny is under scrutiny, and I'm saying, you're shutting down public things, libraries, etc. You're saying every penny is under scrutiny. You've got engineers who committed fraud for thousands of pounds. I said, you're a disgrace. Same with Merrin McRae, another disgrace. But engineers in that land drainage, like Paul Madison and Nick Fothergill and Rebecca Fothergill, and a few more, what they did was absolutely ridiculous. Merrin McRae left. Graham West, one at top engineer, he applied for an high position, they won't give him it. And sometimes in my mind I think, did Box go because of this? Did Graham West not get his promotion because of this? Probably so, but you'll never get to know. But it left me, and I've got nobody, you know, nobody's going to make a documentary about what happened to me. I mean, you've only to look at all videos I put on YouTube about it. But you can't go out to public and say, will you help me? Will you help me? I mean, no, it's not for them. You can only tell them your story. You can only say, look, I've worked here 14 years, I've been a good servant to these people, and the men who work for me, we've all lost his jobs due to people committing fraud, and for that, I got discredited, basically told to off. We're not doing anything about it. It don't matter really, you're a nobody. But believe me, when you're in it, and I was in it for some time, it's, suicidal. Of course it makes you suicidal. Why wouldn't you be suicidal? When a bill turns up for £252,000 and you pay taxes all your life, why wouldn't you be suicidal? When you work incredibly hard and got an impeccable work ethics and work record, and then it's just trampled on, why wouldn't you be suicidal? You go through some immense things. I mean, what them people in post office have gone through, I have a genuine link to it, in my heart even, because some of them people, God almighty, I mean, we all agree on that, but in a rat and that, who benefits, solicitors, there should be no, I mean, even say, oh, well, you get legal aid and that, still got to pay solicitors. And look at it. Do you know what they should do? All these in House of Commons, all these MPs should say, right, lock them doors and nobody goes out of here until somebody's got a check in there for every one of these people and a quash conviction certificate. But they won't do that. They only do things to MPs and people in any kind of power if it benefits them. If they seem to be, I will the one who helps. But at the end of the day, they didn't did that. Ed Davey, I can tell, Ed Davey at the time will have looked on it like this. I'm Dot Gov. It's reputation at post office, bollocks to it. I'm not doing out. Same as lots of them have done that. There is a lot of people should be jailed. People should be jailed. Of course they should be jailed. What, when it's manslaughter, driving somebody to suicide, poor people, I mean, God, I can't, what I went through drove me insane. And to think some of them poor people, suicide, leaving the families and that, how bad is that? How bad? But yeah, as I say, and paperwork's still all there, it's in a shed somewhere in England. But I proved it. I went through all sorts, ombudsman, MPs. Yeah, MPs don't want to know. They just don't want to know. They don't want to know. They just, if it don't benefit somebody, it don't matter to somebody, does it? I mean, my case is just gone. That was it. I was left with huge mental health issues in my head, thinking, how can this be in this country? And even now, I'll tell you one of the reasons I come on as well with this video, because I thought, maybe, just maybe, somebody in Wakefield Council will look and go, do you know something? Why did we do this to him? Why did we ruin somebody? All he did was help. All he did was good things for Wakefield District. It won't happen, because there's that many complacent people in Wakefield. There's some good people. I work with some, and I said that on videos. I work with some good people. But when you go up that management and people, they destroy people, and it doesn't matter. It's got to be a win game for them. It doesn't matter if you're right. It's a win game. We have to win this. We have to be seen to win this. I mean, can you imagine a scenario if they just said to me, right, this is so wrong. You've showed us what they've done. They've robbed you out of a contract, which I even proved. I could even prove that. We're going to reinstate you. These people are in serious trouble, probably lose their jobs. But what we've got for that, at least we've got you and your team who contributes so much to Wakefield District. When all these people do is rob it. What would that avert? It would avert the reputation, same as with Postmasters. It were all about reputation. Paula Venables said that, it was reputation. They don't want to be seen, the reputation bad. And it don't matter who they destroy in front of them. That don't matter. That don't matter. I mean, that Gillian Matt, you've watched that Postmasters. I should have shown most of you. You've got that Paula Venables, and then you've got her understudy with blonde hair, the nasty little one. Well, that's what Gillian Marshall is to council. That's what I had to deal with, a person like that. Only when they did an independent thing on me, they got somebody from HR at Industrial Estate 41, put me in a room, and I said, why don't you ask me about the case? I said, what they were asking me most ludicrous things, and I thought, no. So then when report comes back, for a year-long investigation and everything, I get a sheet of A4 with a few lines in it. Basically, there's nothing up. That was it. That was it. My MP writ to Robert Jenricks. Sorry, John, it's nothing, to do with me. And like I said, that here in Labour now, what's her name? Little one who was on front bench from Castleford area. Another one, not to do with me, and one in Wakefield, him who got done for messing with people or something. Not to do with me. All of them know to do with me. They don't care. But rest assured, if they made a documentary of me, then they'd come out of woodwork, wouldn't they? They would. They'd come out of woodwork. Oh, sorry. It was one of the biggest frauds in Wakefield, that engineers were abusing the positions at taxpayers' expense and pushed under carpet. It encircled so much. Unbelievable. But there you go. So, yeah, do I sympathise with Postmasters? Of course I do. I'm sure everybody does. It just dragged up a lot of old memories for me, how hard it is, struggle against Dot Gov. I don't call it Postmasters, I call it Dot Gov. Same as councils, Dot Gov. And the other thing, you ask questions and it's like, we don't have to be transparent on that. Who makes transparent rules? Usually MPs. It's them who make these rules. The non-transparency and all that. You'd have something and that, don't have to tell you that. I've got some witnesses here and that, but impeccable characters that witnessed all what I'm saying and that. Only a surgeon. We don't want to see them. We're dealing with that constantly. But believe me, I mean, yeah, I'm smiling here and it's making light of it in a way. But when you're in it, as I said, they were closing down business, tax man. My son's had this near fatal accident and nearly killed my son. It was so bad at times. And then they take my livelihood from me. So, yeah, I do know what it's like for postmasters, a lot of them. Of course I know. It's hard. But I was never going to get that kind of, because I were on my own. I was never going to get that help you need. I just relied on people being decent. I just relied on council looking and basically saying evidence is in front of us and that we can't, we don't. We shouldn't treat somebody like this. It's so wrong. I mean, lots of you in Wakefield district, you'll have been laid in bed, probably asleep when it's banging it down with rain, and I was riding around district, and then at 7 o'clock ringing the men and that, get here, get there, sort this. There were times I'd take my generators and pumps to people to help them, all hours. And I never, I didn't charge council. Anybody would, but I didn't. I had that much commitment to doing good, for people. And yeah, lots of times I did things like that. That's just one instance, But, I mean, I once asked for the reference I got once. I got a reference. And I put it on YouTube about it. It was an impeccable reference. It was so, and it was off this Paul Madison, who was a senior engineer, who had given his son a job for 7 years. When all this happened, I thought, I'm just going to test water there. I thought, I'll just test him out. So I asked for another reference. It came back, it went, it's very limited and that, what I can say, and that, but it, I thought, what? I thought, what best thing since sliced bread, this first reference, it was work in conjunction with this man, absolute, but what best thing since sliced bread. And then it was like, next reference, because there were an investigation, basically, and that, I can only say a couple of lines, yeah, he worked here. I thought, well, you twat, no, no conscience, and none of that. But yeah, walking in town, or Gillian Marshall, you do know I work for Wakefield Council. Yeah, all right, Gillian, that means basically, and that, whatever I say, and that you're not going to believe, you're going to discredit me, and that's what she did. They went to all lengths to discredit me, and I don't know how they did. How wheels of Dot Gov work when it comes up to management is incredible. There's that much goes on what you can never find out. You have to have an insider, basically, grass them up in a nutshell, whistle blow. And Do you know what I did, actually, at one point? At one point, I put a £5,000 reward on YouTube, and I thought it might get one of Weasels to come out of woodwork and say, yeah, I know, I do know this and I know that, but no. People don't want to. It's human life now, isn't it? It's human nature, and that. I feel sorry for you, but I don't want to get involved. I don't want to go through hassle having to this or say that or put my job in jeopardy. And I understand that. Of course, I understand that. The fraud officer at Wakefield, this weasel called David Werrett, another one. I just walked out of office with him. He just wouldn't have it. No. I thought, no, I'm going. I had to walk out. The lot of them. Mary McRae, Gillian Marshall, this Nick Follague, this Rebecca Follague, Paul Madison, and there were others. They basically, so yeah, all you people in Wakefield District, they were using your money for other things. I mean, there were some immense things knowledge of flooding in Wakefield District. There's nobody in Wakefield knows as much about it as me. I can tell you that now. Nobody. And the people who work for me, actually. There's nobody knows as much. I know every watercourse, every drain, every dike, every place, every mortal thing. But they sacrificed even that just to say, oh, we haven't done out bad. Sooner get rid of you and keep the fraudsters. So, yeah. But, yeah, I'm really happy, that postmasters, sub-postmasters, that I'm really happy that everything's going to come right, hopefully come right for them, It can't come right, I know that, you can't. I keep thinking of the chap who threw his son under a bus, and that lady who stabbed her son and had, them things put on her head, and she's lost her memory. I think about it every day, every minute. I think, oh God, how can people in our country, his own country, do that to us? How do you do that? It's same with all this with migrants and that. I said to my kids and that when I see them, I said, my oldest friend is a black guy. If I saw somebody drowning in a pond, if it were a black, Chinese, Muslim, transvestite, whatever, I would help him. I'm not racist. But on the other hand, I want all this, migrants stopping, because is it so hard for a government to law when every single person in this country is housed, got a dentist, can see a doctor and get to hospital okay, then we'll think about migrants. That's how I feel. But you'd be called a racist. If I stood there on the beach and went, get back, don't want you, what would people say? Racist, misogynist, racist, hate you. But on the other hand, my oldest friend's a black guy. I'd give food to anybody. When I have my business, I give more money away. Do you know the people in Wakefield who used to give that big issue out? I used to give them 20 quid for it. I'd help anybody. But that don't mean I want migrants all over, until his own country's sorted out. So would I help anybody? Of course I would. I'd help anybody. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they dress with a man, a black Muslim Chinese man dressed with a tutu on and some makeup. I don't care. I would not see nobody without food or injured. I'd help them. But I also don't want all this migrant crap. I want this country. I want all kids to have a dentist. And places at school, and I want everybody housed who born in this country, and then say, yeah, there's room for some people to come. But no, you can't say that now. You're a racist if you say that, and I'm no racist whatsoever. It's the people. Do you know what's happening to all those people? All those, well, we're like lowlifes to most people. I hope, especially all Dot Govs. Dot Govs don't care about us. They didn't care about it. Really. So yeah, my bitterness has subsided. I'm waiting for some major surgery. I'm really poorly, but so yeah, I just thought we're seeing this with Postmasters. It just brought back a lot of memories, and as I said, a lot of people in Wakefield know about it, but getting an entire nation behind you, how would one person like me do that? Really, even when I'm in right. I mean, in your mind at time when you first embark on all this, you think, oh, people in Wakefield are going to be outraged that the tax money. Engineers have been abusing people's tax money, public purse. And on the other hand, leader at council saying we have to shut this down and shut that down, but yet people under him are committing fraud. I thought you think, oh, everybody will go mad, but they're done. People aren't like that. You're just left with what you're left with, yourself and your family. All you've got is your family. You don't have anything else. So, but that's all I wanted to say. Right, I'll go. Have a look at me. The letter me, 252 letter. It's on YouTube somewhere. There's lots of videos on YouTube I put on, but as I said, I understand with Postmasters drumming up that, and even now, like they saying on news and that saying, without this drama, yeah, people take notice and we're getting paid something, but it's taking a long time. But this drama has set it off. We're what MPs are for, drama. How quick were it going to be done before drama? It won't, would it? So then you've got to, you question yourself, do you really care? Nobody really cares. Unless they're not getting brownie points or the name it paper for, they don't care, do they? But I've been trying for years. No, you haven't been trying for years at all. I'd like to see somebody stood at House of Commons and going, right, like I said, lockdown, nobody's going out, let's sort this out properly. We're the people who do it, we're the rule makers. Never mind, we've got to wait for an investigation. Have you noticed when you watch news with all MPs, how they dodge the bullet? I can't answer that because there's an inquiry going on. Why can't they just go like that? If it's what it is, and if it's what we're being told, then people should go to jail. But they don't want to say that. They go, we've got to wait for inquiry. We've got to wait. No, bollocks. The talk to us like absolute garbage. That's why they have a big vote in this country for out. They're going like that now, right? It's about this and about that for votes, to get the votes. I'll tell you what it's about. It's about what people were told as borders would be sorted and everything, come out of Brexit, and they haven't been. And they never will be. Send them to Rwanda. What a load of bollocks. A load of bollocks. Never heard of that. They spend that much money, they could put an army of police on beach, one every 5 foot, and it'd be cheaper to stop people coming. But as I say, I'm not against people wanting to come to this country for a better life. I'm a heck. But it's just we need to sort our own country out first, don't we? We do, though, don't we? We need to sort it out for our own people first, who were born here. Then open his arms up to other people, like it used to be. Like you think it used to be. But billions and billions are spent on this and spent on that. Get ripped off. And as I say, if when it's to do with Dot Gov or somebody in Dot Gov, if they fell out with somebody or something's gone on and that, they go like that, oh, right, yeah, we believe you. We're going to reward you hundreds of thousands of pounds and that because you've been wrongly done to. They don't do that quick enough, can't they? I'll never get an apology, There's people sat in that Wakefield Council now. They still work there. Nobody, sack or no. Nobody lost their jobs or anything. Nobody lost their jobs for fraud and ripping people off and that. Nobody lost their jobs. Just decent people like me. I mean, you won't believe what it's like, when you've got a business and you to shut it down. But the money it costs to run I'm not saying every business, it costs thousands and thousands and thousands. You know, you've got overheads of thousands and thousands, you know, big industrial units and that, machines, all sorts, you know, to take into account. So in my head, I'm going like that, right, I've had to shut it down quick. COVID's coming, worried about my son, tax man, dealing with these with council, lost your employment, you what? I've been on a course, stop saying F word, and I used to say it all the time, and I try not to say it now, you know, it doesn't do you no good, does it? It doesn't do you no good. But if people think there ain't a lot of Dot Gov villains out there, it's full of them. You're only going to be trying to beat. You will never. It's same as when people have an accident. It's to do with counsel and that. They'll spend thousands on top solicitors, thousands of our money to beat us. That's the thing about Dot Gov. They use our money to beat us. Isn't it? It's not their money. They'll go like that, get a fucking $2,000 fucking hour barrister, King Casey now, isn't it? Not QC. Get a $2,000 an hour Casey or something stupid. It's only public who pay, so we'll use their money to beat them. And it's just a ludicrous situation. But all in all, if you're going to come up against .gov, you have to really, you know, mentally, it's hard to let go. And when things happen, you think, no, I can't let go. But my advice would be this: have a good think about it when you embark against .gov, because it's just difficult. It really is difficult. No matter, they can treat you how they want, they can do what they want, and it's all about reputations for them, reputations for Post Office, Council, Wakefield Council reputations. That's what it's all about, and to save their reputation, they don't look on life like us. These people in management and what have you, they don't look on life like us normal human beings. They're there to tread on our shoulders, and that's what they do. You know, I thought I really put the effort and work for free. I did for Wakefield Council for 14 years, and it meant nothing. Nothing. I hope at some point, even now, I still think maybe one day somebody will come out of woodwork who with a guilt complex and say, "Do you know something? I'm going to tell the truth about this with that man and what they did to him." Hopefully that might happen one day. You never know. So anyway, right. You see that behind me? I don't drink. It's not. I'm not drunk for years. I stopped drinking a lot of years ago. I give up with that. I wish I'd have stopped. I wish I'd have never drunk all my life. But no, I've never drunk. Kill me if I had one of them. Oh, I want one of them. When I was younger, I'd have been like that. I'll try one of them every one of them in a glass. If I went like that now and that, if I had a bit of that, I'd be like, oh. So no, I don't do that. I'm in some serious trouble with me, with my health. But mentally, yeah, it crushed me. So I do have a, I do know what it's like for post people, but poor people. I hope they get sorted out and that. 600 grand, neither here nor there, neither here nor there really for, suicides and people losing their memory. Sad. But as I said, that was another thing. Just briefly, Wakefield Express. I contacted Wakefield Express, but do you know what I never realised? In Town Hall at Wakefield, I think they've got. I'm sure they've got an office in Town Hall. They're like hand in glove with council bosses. Wakefield Express. They don't take up the mantle and go, "I'll tell you what, we'll investigate this and that. It's ridiculous and that." They've got an office in Town Hall. They're part of the system. They'll say they're not. They'll go, no, we're independent. I know you're bollocks independent. Independent nothing. You're like, MPs around this district, they didn't want to know. You're not in my area. Yeah, but I'm in Wakefield. You're Wakefield. Yeah, but it's not my area. Yeah, but Wakefield Council are committing fraud on all Wakefield people. Yeah, but it's not my area. All right. And then they're on front bench at Labour Party now. What are they going to do for you? Nothing. None of them do. None of these parties. You only get the same every time. Of course you do. Right. Take care, everybody. I'm in the sun actually, so I'm all right. I'm not all right. So anyway, take care. I'll just sort of reflect on the situation. Maybe one day, maybe somebody will come forward and say, absolute travesty of justice. Travesty what happened to these people. Poor people who work for me and that. I mean, my son worked for me for 10, 11 years. He had to move on. He couldn't take it no more, my son. He said, how they're treating his dad is, it's so, it broke me heart, but I think I cried more about that. My son, my son going, we'd worked together, 11 years and that, man and boy type thing, and I'd learnt him everything. And it crippled me, really, crippled me. And some of the lads who worked for me, they were like me, they were so committed to doing good things for people of Wakefield, where flooding's concerned. It wasn't just a case of, when it rains, we were there. You're doing things. I worked continuous more for 14 years, so you can imagine, it doesn't rain every day for 14 years, but I was doing lots and lots of things to help with flooding and all that, yeah. And lads who worked for me, they were right committed. And now there are people do it, 3-4 times more expensive, but that didn't matter even. It didn't even matter. You're just nothing. You're just on the bottom of somebody's shoe, really. Right, take care. So if you come up against Gillian Marshall, Merrin McRae's gone, or any of these engineers in land drainage, and one of the things with land drainage people, if you've got any trouble with flooding, they usually lie to you, I can tell you that. And, they haven't got a clue. So if you have any flooding still, I put lots of videos on about that. It must be 50 videos about flooding in district. But yeah, so when you ring up about that, they do lie to you, the rest assured. I used to have to go sort it out all the time. I was thinking, can't you just be nice and honest to people? Low down, dirty rats. Take care, everybody.